Hello and welcome everyone. Thanks for joining in. This is our first official podcast. I don't know how it's gonna turn out, but I think we're gonna have fun, same as yesterday.
Yeah.
So, if you don't mind, I just tell the quick history of the modding community. It started, best to my knowledge, in 2008. At least that was the time when I discovered Hell's Atelier. After Hell's Atelier, there was a new site, Double Toned. There were problems there, and then Infernal Warks came to be. And thanks to Tapatalk, after its golden age, it ended in a horrible looking website and mostly unusable even for admins. Then last year, with help of some of you guys, I created Infernal Warks, and that's what we are at now. And we are celebrating on Halloween the first year anniversary of the new forum. And that's basically the quick history.
I mean, it sounds like it's just it happened in a few moments, but how many years? It's like 2008, and the newest IB site was created in 2019. So
For
there's a
me,
lot
it
of
was
history.
12 years ago.
Jesus, I feel old.
That was my first year in high school, and I accidentally discovered a Russian guy uploading a Virgil Dante retexture mod. And it was like the meme when the guy says this explosion in his mind, his brain is exploded. You know the meme and if.
Yeah.
And that was the time I started modding. And you guys, when did you start modding?
Who goes first?
I think you should go in either alphabetical order or how the Discord orders people. So I guess Claire?
I should have known I would have to be first. Jesus Christ. I mean, I have to quickly remind myself because it's actually been a while. I think I jumped in. When was the MC4 released? 2008.
Yes.
I started playing it like 1 year later. I happened to actually got myself a PC back then that could actually play it. I mean, it's not much of a challenge. It's not much of a challenge to play the MC4 vanilla these days. I mean, you can even play it on the toaster. But I think I started playing DMC4 like in 2009, and then I think in 2010 was it, I jumped into Infernal Warks myself. And I think the reason why I got into modding myself was, and I don't want to mistake it, either it was because of Virgil mod. I mean, that back then there were text mods, right? So there were two mods that I actually bumped into back then in 2010, I think. One of those was the text mod the Virgil mod for Nero. I think it was made by Phantom, and I happened to actually see the music video that was also made with that mod. I think it had Cell Dweller in it. And the other mod that I think I remember was, believe it or not, Kree, your werewolf mod. If you remember the video with the monster from Skillet.
I remember I got so many rants on that video because they expected to see an actual werewolf in it.
Yeah, but those were the two mods that actually made me like realize that there is a modding for DMC4. I like DMC4 a lot back then. I kept playing it, but I sucked back then, especially with Dante. And then over the time, I realized that there is Infernal Warks forum. I jumped in there, and for those of you out there, Vane and Kree probably know. Kree definitely knows, but for others, the way I started with modding myself was, believe it or not, by stealing another mod.
All right.
Yeah. So if anyone wonders
remember.
why in the bloody hell
You're not
I'm
the
so
only one,
fixated on crediting like every possible mod that I use for my own packs, then this is pretty much the reason. I got myself into Infernal Warks, and I thought to myself, I'm gonna make a text mod.
Did you get in trouble for that?
I'm gonna get to that. So I downloaded. I think back then I downloaded a few text mods back then, and one of those mods was actually also Corellian's Crow Nero. It had also edited effect textures so that it makes like a lot of effects turn red, not only in gameplay but also in cutscenes. And when it comes to tech, yeah.
Was that the one with 115, the song? The one
No. That was a different. You're talking probably about Prototype Nero, and that was like a lot later, after I joined in. I mean, Prototype Nero was like second mod that I made. But back to the Crow Nero, I found out that when it comes to text mods, you can actually extract them. So I extracted them. I copied some textures from the effects, and then I also I think I added my own recolors so that Nero's clothes could be black and red. I didn't start with purple, keep in mind. Purple was something that I came up with later after what happened with that first mod taken in quota. So I made my own recolors for the clothes. I took Corellian's effects. I uploaded it, and I got one hell of a rude awakening when I actually did it. Some people, I don't exactly remember if that was Lucas by any chance, but someone pointed out when I released the mod that I did take materials from Corellian, and I got served like a lot of hell, to the point I just thought to myself, you know what, I get the fuck out. I screwed up.
I don't remember this at all.
Maybe because it was cleared up, but I remember it as if it was yesterday. I got like one hell of... I mean, I was pointed out that I stole the materials and that kind of stuff, so I backed out for a few days, and then I came back again, but this time I've decided to actually do some proper recolors only on my own without taking anyone else's materials, and that's how Flare Nero came into creation, technically. And after that, you know, I don't know, I don't remember if I apologized back then for stealing materials, but whatever the case, I got on good terms with the rest of the crew back then on the Infernal Warks, and that's how I pretty much started my modding activity.
Wow, what a story.
Yeah.
I guess I'll go again. I started out modding on... I watched Flare's videos. You guys already know. I'm a big Flare fan. But I started out when I was little, I guess. So this was 2015, and I was starting out with modding for Super Smash Bros. And then after that, when 2018 hit, I wanted to do DMC4 first before I got to SE, but I guess I just skipped and just went on to DMC5. Oh my god, DMC4 SE. So when I got there, I tried to hit up Flare if he could teach me, and so he did. I kind of stole a mod, which was like some pinkish effect mod plus the custom.
Do we all started our careers by stealing mod?
No, not me.
You know, this is actually the first time that I'm hearing about this, Rose. Like,
Yeah.
it feels like you started
didn't-
on the exact same steps as I did.
Yeah, because the thing was that, like, what if you notice from the first mod I ever made, which was Rose Virgil, but if you look at the first version, you can see that I put on another logo. So there was in the custom at the back of Virgil, there was supposed to be like some night, some moon logo. So like I basically put over another logo, which was like some rose logo, and like from there I just stuck in black and red effects, the old one, and put that shit inside the the effects that I was using. Yeah, that was basically it.
Along the way, Dragneel dropped by. Hi, Drag. Can you hear us?
Hey, Drag.
Hi there.
Just quickly catch up on the topics where we are at, Dragneel. We are talking about how we started our modding careers. Flare and Rose already finished.
Oh no.
I want to ask,
I didn't finish yet.
do you
Oh, you
guys
I thought
have
you
the introduction and the picture of what you're talking about open?
Oh, the plan for the podcast.
Yes.
I have it open.
Do others have it?
I do not know.
I'm working from my memory, but
Got it.
I just
don't
scrolled
have
up
it.
and I have the whole plan right now.
I kind of wanted to do Rock, Rose, and Drag are the how should I say, junior modders.
I think they joined after or in 2015, so they are like 5 years in modding.
Should I continue?
Yes.
Yes,
The
please.
story. I started knowing how to swap mods. From there, I got good, and then I started to make my own. Venus helped me. He made the Cradle boots go with the Nero pants for my Virgil mod, and he also edited the vest, so that way my Virgil mod would like not have the OG scarf. From there, I started learning more and more. So Virgil Rose was born. That was just basically it.
And being reborn after time, right?
Yeah, being reborn after time, and like yeah, and how I got the name was like I just thought of Jetstream Sam's sword Muramasa, and then I thought of Goku Black, so like Rose, and I just put it together, Rose Muramasa. I guess I just took the red. I guess I just took the color red as my main.
Okay, so who goes next, Rock or Dragneel?
I can go last. I don't care really.
I don't care.
Okay,
Keep
Dragneel.
delaying the inevitable. You will have your turn eventually.
I know. Don't worry about it.
Dragneel, can you go about your
Okay.
name and how you joined the modding scene?
Yeah, my name is Dragneel. I came after DMC5. I joined in like many of us. I joined with the Flair's invite. I don't know if Flair remembers it. Flair gave invite to a lot of people on stream. I can tell you how I failed at modding, to be honest. I tried few mods. I know to model swap, but every time I put in 3ds Max, I look at 3ds Max and I hate 3ds Max, and I end up not finishing much. I did some texture swaps a lot. I make few textures for different models, but then I don't really publish. I didn't publish any model, to be honest. I just hang around, help anyone who's asking for any help. Try not to be obnoxious and just stay around mostly.
Just trying to be helpful, basically.
Yeah, you guys are very nice. That I don't know. It's pretty nice here.
Thank you.
Really nice.
Alright, well, I am a stone, as we all know. But
The slump god.
You are stoned.
yes, I am a stone, indeed. But I think I started modding last year in July. I really don't know why though. I know the mod was just a recolored blue rose in 5. Or I started in with 5 modding, pardon. But I don't really remember why. I think I just wanted to try modding out. I really don't know. I'm sorry, my story is just bad.
It just sounded interestingly. I started modding, but
I just
I
gotta
don't know
try
why.
I mean, to be
then I
honest,
got
it's not
addicted.
really that unusual.
I
Like
don't-
we all probably started because we wanted to try something out when it comes to
They
modding.
may have been a reason. I really don't know.
I've been modding for a long time, so this is DMC was just new to me.
I bought my last PC for DMC4
For DMC4 or 5?
4 in 2008, so I could play it from the start.
Ah, I see. Okay.
Yeah, I kind of did the same.
So, Rock, how did your name came to be Rocktex?
Jesus.
Stone texture.
It's been years since I fucking came up with that name.
You were walking down the street and you stumbled across a rock, and that's it.
And then from there, your school was named Tex. So
I think I just just thought of two random things and combined them. I really don't know, guys. It's been so long. Jesus.
I feel you, man. I feel you.
It's been over 5 years since I have this name. I really don't remember right now.
The easiest way to come up with the nickname, just link two things together.
Yeah, pretty much.
I did that when I was 15, so my name Krillian was born. Well, maybe, yeah, in 2008. Yes. And that leaves us with Vane not talking about how he started, right?
Yes! Okay, I'm gonna try
You go, my boy.
positioning
You
myself
go.
right and bring the microphone closer to my face.
As
ASMR.
professional as possible.
Let's
Okay.
go. ASMR time.
ASMR.
Here we go. As you can see, my name is Poinus S1. That is just my actual birth name with S1 added to the end. I'm not really gonna go into detail how that came to be, but
You lucky fuck.
Wait, quick question. Vanius S1, that's how you're supposed to read it?
Poinus S1.
Okay.
Anus is
It's,
one.
it's just
So,
how
so,
I'm asking because something tells me I've been technically making
No,
mistake all the time.
everyone,
As I'm-
absolutely everyone says it. Vanius.
I thought it was Venus. What the heck? It was all a trap.
To me, he's just Vane, and that's it.
For me, it's
Same.
either Vane or
Oh my god,
Vanius.
Van Anus. Anus. Stop.
Venus.
No. I thought
Yeah, I
it was
guess I
thought
just
it was
prefer
funny.
people to call me Bane. It's just like the abbreviated version of my name. And let's go into history about how I came into the Infernal Warks site. I think I joined that like 2012, so I wasn't really aware of Lateralers or Ateliers or Double Town.
I'm the oldest one then.
I guess so. I really have no idea how I found the modding site. I have no idea what I Googled for it or how I came to be on that. But I do remember we did make few nice looking texture mods. There were some Asian guy, I guess, making some model and effects. I don't really remember his name. There,
Was it for vanilla?
yes, it was for vanilla because I joined in 2012.
I remember two folks actually who made effects for 4. One of them was Crucifix and the other was Aquarius.
Yes, Crucifix.
Crucifix then.
was one
Ah.
of the people I remember.
Yeah.
Also, there was some guy, I guess his name was FedEx. He made a few mods like with short shaved head guys with beards.
Yeah, he wanted to make the mod Son of Dreadnought as an hero mode, but he just vanished.
Yeah, he managed. He didn't come back. And there was, I guess, Flares mods, or am I mixing them up? But yet you made some motion mods.
Yeah, the animation swaps, I
Yeah.
did some, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna try to talk about how I modded things and what I modded. I really don't remember what I made. What kind of mods I made and what kind of mods I abandoned, because I made a lot of things that I have abandoned. I made like DMC1 costume, I made some armor mod of the Angelus for mostly Dante mods. I don't even remember if I made any Nero mods. They did abandon a lot of mods. The only two mods they remember actually finishing were the younger Dante mod and the Voice of the Devil mod, which is just DT body over Dante.
And MGR Raiden?
Oh no, that was not mine. At least
Okay.
not for special edition. I did make Sam for 5 or Virgil,
Yeah.
I think.
And then the potato mod.
Oh, potato one, yeah. I don't really know what else to add to that.
Well, it was about your beginning. You don't need to tell us the whole career. But you know, Flair, my modding career jump-started with mod theft as well.
Oh,
Oh.
And that mod was Soulless Nero. There was a team of 2 in Infernal Designs, and they were brothers in real life, and they created Anima Dante, Soulless Nero. They created the Rock Nero mod with a longer coat and longer hair, and I wanted to make a new Nero mod, and I took some of the textures from Soulless Nero. They found it out. We had a huge fight, but in the end, they invited me to be the 3rd member of Infernal Designs, and that slowly led to me becoming the owner of Infernal Works.
was it Lucas and 7 Foot?
Razor.
Oh, Razor.
Lucas
yeah.
and Razor, yeah.
Did I mention before how I created my name? The name Krillian.
I just remember the last part, but I don't remember what the first part of it is.
The demonic creature from Jeepers Creepers called the Creeper is the first part of the name, and the xenomorph, the alien, is the last part. And I was 15 when I came up with this as a devil form, a devil trigger for myself. And what's your favorite mod or mods? From others, of course. Is there mod like that?
I mean, depends what we are talking about. Are we talking about cosmetics, gameplay alterations? What exactly?
Anything, you're not restricted. You can choose gameplay modification if that's your favorite, or you can choose a cosmetic mod and a gameplay mod, whatever.
I don't think I have.
Oh no.
I can think of a bundle. First is black shoes for Dante. That's very simple, but it's in a black.
Flare
It's in
dodge.
a black costume for Dante. I don't remember which one. And then the Trickster Gunsmith was the title text mod, where whenever you change a Trickster or Gunster, the name appears on top of Dante.
Oh, that. Yeah, those were sick.
Yeah, that's instant classic. And then you got a MGR Raiden is nice, but you get a copyrighted or Capcom doesn't show your or doesn't show your gameplay or something. And then what else you can try? All soundtrack mods are nice. It's boring to hear the same thing again and again. The lighting is nice. The new lighting mods that come every 2 months now for Mission 19 and 20.
I guess for a favorite mod, Godless Nero. I know I really like that, but I wouldn't say I really like have a favorite mod.
Yeah, I have my preferences as well, but I couldn't really pick this mod or that mod.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, I have difficulties myself with choosing favorite mods. Like, I personally go through a lot of stuff when it comes to modding. I mean, I was going through I was installing a lot of mods for DMC4 and then DMC5, and it's just I went through so many like decent creations that I don't even think I can actually choose favorite. At best, I can pretty much say what I cannot play without. I mean, like, what are like a must-have modifications for me, but I don't consider them favorites.
My personal favorite, I can say that, is 5's Voice of the Devil Vein. And that's the mod I basically use every time whenever I don't use mods on Dante. So that's basically my favorite, if I can say that. And I wish, wink, wink, there is gonna be a Nero version later.
Mm,
The
maybe.
wings are the wings are gonna be hell to get into that, aren't they? But
Well, I think I can speak for everyone when I say that we like your red hat flag.
We love her.
No, I'm trying
I
to.
don't think I used.
I thought you're gonna
Yeah.
say. I thought you're gonna say. I don't think I like that.
No, I'm not.
I would call you
I
blasphemous.
don't think I used. I don't think I ever used the mod, to be honest. I don't recall it. Also, I'm saying this a category later, but I got into using mods with Flair's like DMC4 modding tutorial, how to like use mods and stuff.
I don't think I made like tutorials for DMC4. For DMC5, I made a video tutorial.
No,
but
I
for
don't mean
4
how to make mods. I mean how to install them.
For 5.
I think you made for 4.
I didn't make anything. I
you
mean
did.
the only thing that I did for 4 was the effect editing tutorial, but that was on the old forum, and I think I carried that over to the new forum as well. Well,
Yes.
actually, I don't even remember whether I was doing some sort of tutorials, what I was doing in the knowledge base back then. It's like one huge fog. in
This
that area.
Flair, this one.
All
That's what I
that.
mean. Yes.
Oh, right. Yo, I completely forgot that I made that.
Bruh.
Bruh.
I'm gonna use a bruh on that one. Yeah, that's what got me into using mods. I know this is like a category later.
I mean, whenever I do tutorials, it's just basic. But if that's what got you
Nah.
in, then that's fine, I guess.
I just remembered like how to make mods. I know how you made the like tutorial for 5, like how to make mods. Best info ever. God damn.
I wasn't even trying then.
You were. Admit it. But yeah, sorry for the interruption.
Probably one of the most not motivated tutorials ever made.
Speaking of motivation, was it that did it ever happen to you that you were inspired by something and you thought that that could be turned into a mod?
Well, for most, like, character costumes from other games.
For example.
Well, the best example I can give is Metal Gear. Like with Raiden and Sam, and God Hand costume is like a good looking one. I mean, there's always just some game with a cool ass design and you just want to see it in the game.
I mean, for me, there were a few modifications where I was actually inspired. I mean, few examples like Sword Art Online Nero, and also the what was it? The other Nero mod I made, Saruhiko Fushimi. I mean, that one mod was actually a request. I think that was the only request mod that I actually made. And the only reason why I did that mod was, one, because of good design, and also because of the fact that the character that was in reference also had the same VA as Nero, Johnny Young Bosch, right? I mean, I watched the anime myself, and yeah, I mean, pretty much the same VA. But other than that, I mean, when it comes to making mods, I mean, sooner or later, there is bound to be some sort of like reference, something that I can use from different designs, and I want to put it in the mod. I mean, there is that kind of situation whenever I make something, be it consciously or subconsciously.
I have to point out favorite, but like why mod is Nude Nero.
Ah,
I'm not
Like-
even going into nude mods, so
I
I have no comment, pretty much.
Naughty,
such a
naughty, baby.
it's
Naughty,
such a
naughty.
good looking model, yet it's such a goddamn meme.
it's a double-edged sword. For you.
Yes,
Both blessing and a curse.
yes.
Most
Well,
downloaded.
and speak.
We cannot post nudes on the forum because the board always gonna send a personal message to please get rid of it.
Speaking of personally, like favorite mods, like I can't point out it, but there's like a lot of good mods, lots of texture mods, lots of model mods, but what at the moment, like the only mod that I can come up with is like the code from DMC1 that was ported from Monster Hunter by Tab and TRP. That mod looks fucking good.
Especially now that one of the code edits look like Alucards, and TRP already said that he's planning to turn that mod into an Alucard mod from Helsing.
Yeah,
I really hope they make a Helsing mod for DMC5.
Integra Wingate's Helsing SV.
No, that could actually work. I can see it happening.
I always wanted to make one. I wanted to make a Alucard mod.
Oh, my Alucard mod was, well, compared to the rest of the mods I made later, was shit.
Krillin, I loved one of your mods though. That is actually how I made Referral Dante.
Wait,
That's-
Reficule Dante? Did I hear
Yeah,
that?
Referral.
Uh-huh, okay.
I always thought it's reciprocal. I mean, my English is bad, so you know.
That's the one thing. I honestly think that when it comes to asking about the favorite stuff, I think it's kind of hard for us. I mean, like, we are creating stuff on our own. We're going through a lot of mods. I think it would be easier for us if we were just like we were using mods, but not exactly create them. If we were actually more on the outside area. I mean, I make some of the stuff of my own, and I tend to play with my own stuff, and also I test other stuff as well. So it's kind of hard to like choose the proper favorite because there are a lot of good creations, and I assume that a lot of us are pretty much busy with our own stuff as well.
Okay.
What we are creating.
Before we move on, just one thing about modding. Your own favorite, least most disliked and most liked mod that came from you.
My least favorite mod. I think it's maybe the werewolf mod.
Just because people thought it would be an actual werewolf.
Maybe, but thinking back then, I only did textures sometimes that I took a texture from another game and slapped it on Nero's face, and if you remove the hair, you can see an ear texture on Nero's cheek.
Wait, what?
I mean, not right next to his ear. The ear texture is not at the right place on that face texture, so you can find that. And my own favorite mod, I'm gonna say it's from 5 right now. It's the Umbra Nero, the Bayonetta texture mod Nero.
Oh, the Bayonetta 2 design one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that looks real good.
Who's next?
Mine is just flares.
Oh no, I'm gonna actually stay as the last one for this one because I have a good story.
I think I didn't catch the topic right now for some reason.
We were talking about your own, the mod that you made. What's your least liked or most liked?
Oh,
Oh,
so like which mod I made?
Which one you hate? Which one you like?
I really like Rock Hero because blue is my favorite color, but the one I like the least. Hold on, let me see what all I made.
Kree.
No, I'm gonna open next.
Yes.
I wasn't paying attention to the question. I thought we were asking about what's our favorite mods.
Oh, we are past that. This is
I
a
mean,
new
first we were talking about our favorite mods, like overall, but then Vane suggested to actually come up with our own creations that we both like and dislike the most. Like,
I
we
mean,
choose one of them.
Mine, I made like 2 really bad recolors when I just started modding, so those would count. They're basically the same, so those would be the most hated. It was like simple white white clothes.
Mine's would be I guess mine would be Rose Nero and Rose Virgil. And my hated mods would be the old ones that I rebooted.
My most like mod should be again. I should put a spoiler because we don't even remember all of the mods. I guess I don't know, man. Right now it's
It's okay if you can't name. It's not a must.
okay. skip it and go to the most hated one. I should say it's Hazy's Weeaboo dress, but then I'm also degenerate, so I'll go with the Jugamos mod. The mean Jugamos.
That meme mod,
Yes.
8-ball,
8-ball Jugamos.
bruh.
Okay, Wayne, what's your favorite and least favorite?
I mean, I'm looking at my mods right now, and I really don't know what would be a favorite of mine. I really don't
Dude,
have
yeah,
like
that's
a
the
favorite one, but I guess at the moment, Nero Coatless one is like the mod. That's like a really well looking one that I finished, and it looks like well. And as to a mod that they dislike, it's like my DMC2 Dante, both 4 and 5. Because for 4 I never finished fixing the rig on the code, and it like TRP did finish the rigging and did something, but the model doesn't work in cutscene, so it's like gives it a like big black stripes over the screen. It's hard to see. On 4.5 it's because I didn't actually finish it and didn't give it enough detail to it. Like there's still a lot of model editing to do, but I jump like from one mod to another. I just never go back to it, and it's just like always on my mind. And just I don't even know when I'm gonna be coming back to it, so I just fucking hate it at the moment. Oh, and I want to come back to a mod that I really liked as well. A mod from Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition that Tab made. It was Trish with bangs and ladies shirt. It's like a really well looking mod. And I guess that's pretty much it for the first of our topic.
Flair said he has a
Oh
story.
yes, I completely
Yes.
forgot.
Let me hear it.
Let's
Oh,
go,
yeah, this
Joe.
ought to be good. Okay, so sorry, one thing at a time. I've got to pause the game. Most favorite mods. You know, it's actually kind of funny because considering that I'm supposed to be Purple Freak on daily basis, I think like my favorite mods that I made were back in DMC4. Previously mentioned Sword Art Online Hero and Sarukuka Fushimi. Why is that? Because I actually those were the mods that I pretty much considered like testing grounds. It's more not like testing, experimental grounds, and those were the mods back then where I think I put like the most attention to detail, recoloring effects, that kind of stuff. And to be honest, I've had like huge fun while making those things back then. Unfortunately, I do not have like the same energy as I had back then. So even if I wanted, I mean, currently like my main experimental mod is the Redhead for DMC5, like Crimson Anger. But other than that, I think those were like my favorite mods simply because I think I experimented a lot with those. As for my least favorite mod, this is something that doesn't exist anymore, and thank goodness, otherwise I wouldn't hear the end of it from Amaze, because he actually had tendency of bringing it back. I don't know if anyone actually remembers it, but I actually did a style announcer mod for DMC5.
Yeah, I remember it.
Yeah, you remember that one?
Yes.
And
Yeah, I remember the
up
video.
until
Yeah.
this day, I regret that I ever did I regret that I ever did it, and I'm glad that I removed it. Probably the most not motivated style announcer ever. I think there was on Nexus like bored style announcer. What I did was probably even more bored. Like I'm about to die out of boredom. I mean, I think I posted a video of that, and I got like a lot of comments that I should have like more energy, and I was like, put more energy into saying the style ranks, that kind of stuff, and I was just like completely embarrassed by that. I say no, this flies out of the window pronto. And that's pretty much it.
So, the next topic is kind of an elephant in the room because it's 5 SE and Virgil DLC.
boy.
So,
Who's gonna fire the shots first?
Why the hell is it exclusive? Come on, Capcom. Why are you repeating definition of the reboot again?
wait, Rock, wait.
First of all, let's take it easy. We already have a video on Amaze's channel where we went all out. Let's go for more like calm discussion.
So, my opinion in 5 SE is like it's early based on when DMC5 came out, and it's not much of a ambition based on what we have seen already, but we can expect more as Matt Walker's tweet was translated as Virgil will have weapons now. Hopefully it was a good translation, not like this translation with Japanese stuff where they mistranslate stuff, because I saw a tweet which said that the word for weapon and weapons in Japanese are the same, so
it's not as much as it's the same, it's more like it can be both served as singular and plural. So whether weapon or weapons... Yeah, continue, sorry.
Yeah, I meant that, but sometimes I have problems, real-time translating my thoughts. But let's say Virgil will get weapons. Then I think they either gonna go with the 4SC route for Sage and Beowulf, if they want to, or they can introduce their remodeled version with different names, so it's gonna be like, looks different than Beowulf, it has a different name, but it's basically Beowulf. You know what I mean?
Honestly, my idea, like, instead of Force Edge, he could just have a summon sword. I mean, it's simple, sure, but it would do its job.
I mean, considering the fact that Nero can use Showdown without Yamato in 5, I mean, that could pretty much work.
Yeah, he would just hold a summon sword, basically.
Okay, let me say this first. Capcom is not a company that is sensitive about spoilers. They literally spoil us with every single trailer. I don't think they would really put out that trailer if they had much extra in their back hand. They would have at least teased something for the next trailer. But the trailer was pretty simple. The song was the only hit, and there's nothing big surprising for me. And they wouldn't hide a 20-second gameplay new move inside a 1 hour filler just to spoil us later.
You know what I'm thinking? They might release some sort of video on it just before the release of special edition, and I just hope they don't spoil every single move for Virgil.
I wonder that air move, he does in the cutscene. The spin, yes, the spin.
Yeah.
If it's gonna be
Sonic move.
If it's gonna be in the game or it's like for a cutscene only.
Yeah. I mean, so far we have one new move confirmed.
By the way, on Dan Southward's Twitter, on Instagram, one of those two, I saw him being in a mocap suit, and I think he kind of nodded towards the direction that he is back for the 5SE stuff, but I'm not sure. I don't remember clearly what he was saying in that post, but if he was back, then I hope it's more than just a few new combos.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be possible that they're just reshooting some new motion capture for the new cutscenes or something. It might be some new project. Who knows?
Man, I just remembered how they basically faked reversals in the trailer.
Yeah.
That was something.
But let's say they are gonna give Virgil weapons, but something new. What would you like to see?
Well, this one is a welcome one.
My mind is kind of blank considering that there is like a huge time gap between DMC 4 and 5. So I don't know. Currently, I'm hoping that Virgil is. One thing that I'm most curious about is I just hope that Virgil is not being stuck to one weapon only. That's pretty much
Yeah.
it. Whatever he
I want
gets,
dual
I just hope
swords.
that he's not going to be stuck with Yamato only.
Yeah, I'm just really curious as to what Capcom will actually do. Will just do the 4 special edition and just give him Werewolf and Force Edge, or give him soon new weapons, or they will just give him only Yamato, which would be like strange.
If Virgil had a normal Devil Trigger instead of his
Oh
SDT,
yeah.
Yes,
Concept
that
art.
would be amazing.
because I can get behind the fact that maybe it wasn't completely modeled, so they used the SDT model, and in the
Change it.
DLC he will get the ability with the SDT, and he will use the normal DT for the normal moves. I can imagine that being happening.
True, but I don't think it would fit with Virgil. Just seems, not his style, I guess.
Well, and from what I've seen, his normal Devil Trigger might be just the his Sintel Trigger, and then there might be some meter for the resummon thing.
I wonder how the doppelganger is going to work, because so far we've seen clips, and usually whenever Virgil activated doppelganger, he was only doing it in his like human state, but never in DT. And I wonder if are those two mechanics, is DT going to be separated from doppelganger, and you can switch between those two? I just wonder about that.
And I noticed that at one scene that the doppelganger was like doing the same as Virgil, but with a slight delay.
Yes, those were in 3 and DMC Virgil Doppelganger and his DT.
Yeah, this
special,
this
like,
is actually
things
what I
like
want to
that.
point out, the reboot Virgil. Lately, I actually replayed Virgil in the reboot Virgil's Downfall. Like, I went through the entire story. I decided to check the moveset again, and the whole delay thing, something tells me that it's going to be assigned to the D-pad, like the same way. Because reboot Virgil had the options to set the delay, or so that the doppelganger can fight at the same time as the actual player. And something tells me that the way doppelganger is going to work, it's going to be assigned to the D-pad.
What do you guys really want? AI controlling the doppelganger, or you want to control the doppelganger?
No, we were just wondering how the delay thing will work on it, and can you Devil Trigger and Devil Trigger out with the Virgil?
My idea for Virgil's weapons, I'm guessing just a combat and then maybe a scythe would be cool.
What do you mean like combat? A fist weapon?
Yeah, fist weapon and a scythe.
Yeah, scythe would be dope.
I mean,
It
only
would be cool,
reboot
though.
has like legitimate sight, but other than that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Devil May Cry like didn't have a big variety of weapons. Like the only unique weapon was Cerberus and Cavalier. Other weapons were like big sword with some weird gimmick, like Naman.
Another idea
Oh,
I had for
the gun is the
Virgil
confusing
was
thing.
like a Yearsin mode, or like a Nilo Angelo mode or something like that.
Oh yeah, you are talking about the fan work. There was a fan who created the art about Urizen mode or something, like some
Yeah,
style he had. Like he could place a barrier around himself, like Urizen did.
are we talking about that artwork from Salvatore Tabi on Twitter? Yeah, I actually would like to see that weapon.
Can
Like
someone-
Urizen themed gauntlets. That would be actually cool.
Oh, that art with the mask
that
and
would be
thing,
so
right?
cool, man.
I mean, personally, I'm 50-50 on Mask, but I would love to see those gauntlets. I mean, even if they had Beowulf skill set, copy and paste it. But the design itself, it fits Virgil,
Yeah,
especially.
the
Me-
map
I
is a no
mean-
for me.
It does.
I mean, Yurzan's arm do look pretty nice.
And the question is, what happens when he uses the move Trinity? Will he simply turn back into Virgil or not? Because some people said that he stays V and that would suck.
In my
Ima-
opinion, I think it's gonna be like the Judgment move Dante has in Sin Devil Trigger.
It's a
He's
50-50
gonna
with
revert
me.
at the end.
Yeah,
He's gonna
that's
just return back because the way I see it, I think if they're gonna manage it the same way as the MC4SC, the first thing to take into consideration is that Virgil is gonna be separated from the others. V, Nero, and Dante will have their own campaign, and Virgil is will be able to go through all the missions.
That's what most people think that is going to be like,
Hope so.
and Virgil
Yeah.
might not be co-opable, which if it is, it will be really disappointing.
Yeah, that will be kind of a bust. But other than that, in reference to that question, whether Virgil is gonna Virgil probably will turn back into that after that V attack.
Yeah, it's probably like some sort of stage
like
clear.
the-
Because for him to simply stay as V after executing that attack, it just doesn't make sense, like gameplay wise. It's
I know.
I don't know.
That's why I found weird that some people thought that he's gonna stay in V state.
Isn't it an unused move in DMC5 already? People were talking it's already in DMC5, but it was unused and it's still in
Yes,
the game.
there were some animation or motion swaps that you can just do it with we just would raise into the air and do the motions of it the exact same like they were in the trailer, except there was no the pet summons or the effects.
And it already did a massive amount of damage.
Oh yeah, it did.
My expectations for Virgil's gameplay is not going to be much. I think I'm more realistic than you guys, honestly. Capcom is just going to make the laziest thing possible. First that comes to mind is a parry. Mission 20, there's whenever Nero tries to attack him, I guess Virgil parries and stabs his heart, right? I think they're going to change that animation into a parry for Virgil. And then maybe something new with the air string when you're up in air with Yamato, but I'm not expecting much at all.
Also, I wanna add something as to the Virgil possible campaign of Cosmic. I don't know, you might know this guy, you might not. He's a DMC speedrunner, but he gave a really interesting idea as to how Virgil's campaign might be. You go into mission 19, you kill Virgil. Then you go into mission 20, then you kill Virgil. And if that's how Virgil's campaign is gonna be, it's like, why Capcom? Why?
2 missions only with Virgil.
I mean, I can safely assume that Virgil in Virgil campaign is going to be replaced with Virgil like Vante costume or something like that.
It would be so good if we could fight Dante and Nero if we play as Virgil.
I think Nero would be interesting because imagine
Yeah.
if
Like-
they just buster you.
Dude, I wanted a boss Nero since Demon C4 came out. Like,
Yo,
why do you not get you get to fight Dante, but you don't get to fight Nero? Like, what, man? Like, just give me. I mean, PvP mod does gives us the ability to fight Nero to an extent, but
But
it's
he
still
cannot
not
do
a
a buster.
proper AI controlled boss.
Yeah. Like,
Rotex,
yeah.
remember that time we played on co-op? I was
Mhm.
Dante, and we did SDT versus Nero.
STD, yes.
STD Nero, yeah.
Yeah, I remember. But like, imagine if like you would fight Nero like as Virgil, and Nero would be AI. Like Buster on Dante Must Die would basically one-shot you.
Bruh.
That would deal too much damage on Dante Must Die.
Depends. I mean, Devil Breakers could be scripted in such a way that you would
Yeah.
just have to
Right.
avoid like every Devil Breaker.
Or he might be limited to some and not have the Buster.
Oh yeah, there is also another thing like Buster. Nero is gonna get Devil Trigger, so Buster Arm is gonna be technically obsolete. I mean, I do understand that it brings a lot of damage for Nero's gameplay, but from the story standpoint, but from the when we are talking about the story, it's pretty much not necessary. So Nero as a boss could go without Buster Arm, pretty much.
And I can imagine as when you play, for example, in human mode, Nero doesn't even have devil breakers. And as you go higher difficulties, he will have specific devil breakers. And maybe on DMD or Hell and Hell, you will have Buster, maybe, or maybe that's going to be exclusive because of whatever reason. It's up to Capcom if they are going to do that or not.
I actually finished Hell and Hell on DM4 and 5, and I think those are the only two games that I ever completed 100%.
God damn it.
I never completed a Devil May Cry game for 100%.
I'm at mission 17, and then my laptop gets burned every time, and that's my excuse.
I mean, even now as I finished Hell and Hell in DMC5, I completely am not proud about it because throughout most of the time as I was playing on HAH, my PC was pretty much ready to be thrown out the window.
My hands were so ready to press that Alt F4 combination whenever I got pissed. It's so good that the game doesn't punish you for it.
Ooh, okay. I want to talk about the special edition exclusive features, such as Turbo, LDK, and ray tracing. Yeah, I mean, Turbo and Turbo was made early on, and LDK is in the works. But still, I want those features to be an official thing and not a modded thing.
Maybe they're gonna release 5SE sometime later.
Or they could just make it as a DLC on PC.
They
For the
could,
regular
yes,
version.
because on SteamDB.com or SteamDB, I don't know.
Yeah, how many items was there added?
6 or 7.
7 in total, and one of them is the Virgil DLC, I think.
Let me say something. I just really hope that those other 6 aren't just songs or screensavers.
I mean, the way I think is we could expect like special edition features as DLCs, but something tells me that the way it's going to be handled is going to be the same way as DMC4 special edition and DMC5, like
Costumes and orbs.
some pack of orbs, red orbs, soundtrack, maybe some extra costume, maybe Super Virgil.
Yeah, Super Virgil is high probability.
It's probably gonna be Super Virgil and Super V because I don't think there's a Super V, or is there?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah, the
Yes,
trio
yes.
pack, right?
I think we talk enough about 5SE. I mean, I don't have anything I could come up with. You guys?
I
Oh,
wanna
like,
talk about ray tracing.
Oh
Why the
boy.
fuck do we need that? That just gets me so fucking angry. Why do the fuck?
You know what?
I think it's supposed to be easy, right?
You know, I'm just gonna be blunt. I'm gonna say that I've talked about special edition features so often that currently I'm just afraid to speak anymore. I mean, I just don't want to sound like a broken record. I mean, I've said like a lot of stuff on Twitter, on YouTube, under my videos, on streams. I mean, technically speaking, I'm a person like a lot of people that plays on turbo mode. That is already enough of a reason for me to consider ray tracing obsolete because it gets deactivated automatically the moment I play turbo or LDK. So there, if I ever had a chance to get a new console, I wouldn't even play with ray tracing.
You know, the Steam, I think Steam will get the DLC, but they're not saying it because PS5 and the Xbox is releasing, so they want the console hype, and they might release it later, unapologetically, like coming January, probably.
Well, if they do, they will release it like half a year later or something. But okay, the main thing I want to say about ray tracing, all it does, it gives reflectiveness to the puddles and some mirrors. I mean, doors or some stuff like.
Also, some changes to the lighting overall.
And
who the fuck cares about?
let's say, okay, let's see.
Who are gonna care about it?
What missions have puddles? Mission 1, a little bit of mission 2.
The first few.
Is there some? I don't remember.
Three
No,
in
3
the
don't
sewer.
really have. A
In the
little
sewer.
bit of 4. And
Pretty much most of the missions that do not happen within Clifot.
yes, exactly. And missions after those, like, it's all Clafot. They don't have puddles, they don't have water, they don't really have any reflective surfaces. All it will do just like give it a slightly bloomier look, and that's it.
So I'm assuming that, let's say you're playing Special Edition 5, and basically you see probably a lake, and you're running as Nero. It's gonna lag, which is fucking dumb. Really dumb.
I mean, depends. I mean, maybe it's gonna be tweaked by the release. I mean, there is still some time. I don't know how ray tracing can be optimized exactly. I don't know about that kind of tech stuff. But maybe it's gonna
pretty
go
think
better
it's
than
dumb.
I think.
I wonder how the consoles are gonna handle LDK and Turbo together.
Turbo is a hit or miss. Turbo isn't really a thing that uses resources or anything. All it does is just makes the game run faster. It doesn't really, and it shouldn't really do anything to the game. But LDK,
I mean, LDK. I mean, consoles are gonna have higher hardware. LDK, I don't think should be much of a problem so long as the ray tracing is not included. And of course, it's not gonna be included. I mean, there is probably a reason why it's not. It's deactivated automatically when you're playing LDK, probably to like save the hardware resources and focus on LDK.
okay, I just had a idea about resource thing and the game dipping in FPS. Mission 3 and 7 did have a lot of FPS drops when the AI cameo system AI came into the scene. I wonder how will that work with LDK? How worse will the FPS drops on the consoles when that happens? They might have optimized it, they might have not. I just wonder how it will be.
Well, Special Edition is said to be like specifically tweaked. Is said to be specifically tweaked for the new consoles. So maybe they will fix that. Maybe they will fix frame rate drops. Who knows?
I think we can move on to the upcoming Devil May Cry anime from Eddie Shankar. I hope I pronounced his name correctly.
No idea. No idea
don't
how it's
know.
name pronounced.
I mean, I stopped following the subject like
It was-
quite a while
it
myself.
wasn't-
So.
It was announced almost 2 years ago that there is gonna be a Devil May Cry anime, and
There ever news about it recently?
Nope.
no, I don't think so. I haven't checked, but it was said that I think it's gonna have like be part of his bootleg universe and possibly crossover in Castlevania,
I was gonna say that.
because we could already see Rebellion in Dracula's castle in Castlevania.
Yeah, I had that reference.
How the fuck did Dracula get the rebellion?
Well, in Castlevania, there is this thing called the Infinite Corridor. It's basically the plot device for multiverse. So you enter the Infinite Corridor and you can go to whatever world you want. So basically, that's that.
Then what happened to Dante?
I don't know,
Or something?
because the anime probably is not gonna be canon. So
Well,
anything can happen. Maybe it's gonna be a different stories. Maybe Dante will be different than we know him, or or if Adi will stuck with the OG Dante we know and like, maybe it's gonna be before the events of Devil May Cry 5.
It might be the DMC Dante.
Oh no!
No,
Oh.
no.
Why?
Devil May Cry and DMC meets, and then that's why there is no DMC Devil May Cry 2, because Dante killed the other one.
I mean, now that you talk about the fucking multiverse thing, I wonder if he will touch off on Dante being half human and half Dante and people giving shit.
Half human and
that.
half Dante.
Half demon.
Konami and Capcom.
Did I just say half human, half Dante?
Have human, have
Have
Dante.
Dante was
God
true.
damn it. I mean,
Maybe he could change the roles for Dante and Virgil as it was hinted in Devil May Cry 5. If their positions were switched, we could actually see Virgil running the Devil May Cry office and a power-hungry Dante.
I was thinking like Dante would be like, he would still be him, but like a bit evil, you know? So like, I guess he wouldn't care about anybody, and I guess he'd just kill and kill. I guess he'd be a psycho.
I mean, I don't know. I've spent so much time with DMC that at current point, I just cannot see Dante as antagonist. I mean, even in DMC4, where there was like at the starting sequence,
yeah, that was
where
a
he attacked
fucking
the
woo.
opera house.
Plot
I mean,
twist.
even back then, I was not buying it. No way, Dante is the bad guy. That's what I thought.
I was kind of buying it at the beginning, but then I played the game.
And I knew like at the top when Nero's running to Fortuna, you could actually see Dante at the top of the building.
Yeah, he was just creepily watching Nero.
I wonder when the anime is actually gonna be a thing, because I know that Adi is working on the next season of Castlevania, if I recall that correctly, and he has 2 other projects as well, so that might be the delay on Devil May Cry.
Just a little bit of news would be nice. Like,
Or maybe it's gonna be like with the Bayonetta 3. They announced there is gonna be one, but 3 years have passed and nothing.
it's been 3 years already. Jesus.
Yeah, Bayonetta 3 has been announced in 2017 at the Game Awards, so we are hopeful that this year's Game Awards will show us something. But forget about Bayonetta just now.
Second on the Bayonetta thing. Sometimes on Twitter I see this meme where Bayonetta and John is sitting like on the news, and there has been X days since the announcement of Bayonetta 3, but there has been no news or something like that, and it cracks me up every time.
Somebody keeps posting that.
Yeah, there's like an account on that.
And what are your thoughts about the future of Devil May Cry? Will there be? I hope there will be a Devil May Cry 6 sometimes, or
Yeah, in 15 years.
I mean, we waited a decade for a 5th game, so I would give it like 2 decades for a 6th one.
we are gonna be those middle-aged men from Malay Islands picture by the time we get Devil May Cry 6.
True.
I'm hoping for
The
like a
current
startup
interesting.
plan.
Right now, the mobile game looks fun. The mobile game that's about to release, Devil May Cry Mobile.
Yeah, I see people enjoying that for a bit. I never touched it though.
I forgot about Pinnacle of Combat. Completely forgot. Same.
I mean, some people say it's fun.
It has actual decent mechanics for, and it's supposed to be the 3 storyline, so I don't think they can really mess it up that much. We'll get that before we'll get DMC 6. I don't know what's DMC 6 story gonna be.
I'd like a Nero and Virgil, father and son story arc. I know people are gonna probably say that the lack of Dante is problematic because they want Dante to be in it. He is Devil May Cry for us, basically.
I'm gonna say something to finish up for you. Yeah.
and some people will have a hard time accepting if they get a Devil May Cry game, but no Dante is in it.
Are you winning, son? No, fuck you, dad. That's how
Bruh.
DMC6 might be.
Also, give me my arm back.
Give me back, yeah.
Even though, like, you literally just made Yamato out of it, give it back right now.
I don't know. I always ranted about what I wanted DMC6 to be. I don't know if people saw or remember what I say, but I kind of wanted to be like Monster Hunter / Clear as Dead with like not necessarily open world, but mission based thing. Like you go into a mission, kill a lot of enemies, kill a boss, maybe do some puzzle thing. Just not
Oh,
not like the generic save the world thing. I just want to go in, just complete a mission and just go back, collect the cash and just relax.
So basically the days and nights of Nero and Dante and the rest.
I mean, just DMC business as a whole, maybe like the DMC anime, like something.
have it like a Yakuza style or a open world where when you want to go do a mission, you go ask guy and make a mission. Otherwise, you just go around and play in some other areas.
Yeah, Yakuza DMC game where you're suplexing the demons.
I mean, isn't that basically Nero?
Yeah, kind of, if you think about it. I mean, if you consider the Buster animations on Alto Angelo in DMC4.
Okay, the other idea I had.
I mean, in
about-
DMC5, he literally suplexes like the demons with the sword, like something angel. I don't know what they're called exactly right now.
the Protos.
Yeah. He
The
literally just
suplex
takes them and shoves into them, smack.
Protos. Bro Angelo.
Bruh.
Bruh.
The other idea I had about what I would want DMC6 to be is still Devil May Cry business, but you could be either, I don't know, human, half demon or something, but just a custom character, not just like character like Dante or Nero or something.
Make your own
That's
Devil
nice.
Hunter.
Yes, something like that.
Hmm.
And just do the demon hunting business.
If they really want modding out of the picture, they could have just done that.
Also, speaking of modding, they should give us a lot of more customization for the attacks and stuff. Like, best example of this is God Hand. You can customize your combos, add a certain move in a certain space. You can make your finisher be a first move or the last or the middle. You can do a lot of customization, and that is a thing that I would want out of DMC. More customization as to what you do in your attacks.
I mean, when it comes to DMC6 myself, I mean, I don't have any hopes for like any DMC6 to ever come, unless, as I said, in 10, 15 years.
Oh my god.
But other than that, unlike Vayne, I cannot think about like some sort of normal like devil hunting business or something like that where you create your own character, simply because it's not gonna happen. Probably. And whenever I'm what-ifing about DMC6, I need to take into consideration that the formula of the game ain't gonna change. It's gonna have a story. It will probably be about saving the world from the demons yet again. And DMC5 was supposed to be the ending for the Sons of Sparta arc, right? So, by any chance, if DMC6 ever comes, it will probably have Nero as the lead, although something tells me that he won't be able to lift the whole franchise on his own. Dante and Virgil they may probably appear in the game, but they won't be like the main protagonists. Maybe they will be maybe they will be put to the side as side characters. Maybe there will be some cameo, something like that. Maybe they will come back from the underworld after all the fighting and cutting down the Clifot from the underworld level.
I remember before 5 was released, there was this so-called leak about Virgil and Dante returning, only to find out that Virgil is gonna be a grandfather. And I was like, okay, that sounds really great, but I don't know. It could happen in Devil May Cry 6 that's the reason why Kyrie was absent, and I would like to know more about Nero's mother, because we only know his mother left him at the orphanage, and that's that.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Uh,
Yeah, and Capcom isn't really giving us much more detail than that. It's kind of a shame that that's all we know what or who Nero's mother is.
recently I've been thinking also about another thing about the DMC Sparta game, which I know is going to be the section that we'll be talking about later. But out of two possible options, DMC 6, either it's going to have Nero as the main character and some other character, like something new, because let's be straight. Nero,
Yeah.
along with Nico, they probably won't be able to hold the entire franchise on their own. Not without Dante or Virgil. So, I say that there might as well be some additional characters, some additional demon hunters, something like that. And recently, since I've been making that Red Hat mod of mine, I just thought to myself, make a game where all of a sudden it turns out that Dante has a kid of his own. Problem solved. It's gonna be a good counterbalance for Nero. Maybe there will be some rivalry between those two. Maybe one of them is gonna turn evil.
And there can be family drama as well. And
Yeah, it's gonna stay within the same formula.
people always say that Dante is still a virgin. That
It's about damn time to debunk it.
yeah, I would think that it's just a one night stand. Dante was drunk or something, and that's it. And later he finds out, oops, that was more than just a few drinks.
Oops, now I have to pay the bills.
Child support.
Now, I actually thought a lot of it. That's my DMC6 theory. First, when I'll start mine now. In terms of progression, Wayne has really thought of something crazy. I don't think it's gonna happen. It's gonna be just 20 missions, the same DMC4 formula, and then not a reverse. Okay, the hero is gonna be Nero, I think, and I think the humans are gonna have an association or something. This is again a crazy theory. You can just completely say no. Humans, those guys, humans, the angelic guys in DMC4. I can't remember the name. The Order. They had some tech. They really figured something on their own. I think there should be another group of humans who must have figured something on their own, and I think Nero is gonna cross between them in DMC6. And you see, Capcom suddenly has this passion for cutscenes and all these things for DMC5. So I think they're gonna work on the cutscenes a lot for DMC6 as well. So, and by the end of it, I think Nero's gonna have a call, and then Kyrie is gonna say, "I'm pregnant," and I think that's the ending of DMC6 if the formula is completely copied again.
I thought about 6 like introducing a new character who fills in the gaps, like unexplained plot points,
Expanding the DMC franchise.
Yeah, someone who explains why this happened in that game, why that happened in that game. So sort of connecting the dots for the sake of 6 plot. Sorry. And
yeah, I like that idea that Nero's going to meet a new character, and that character's going to be also playable.
And I thought about some sort of story for what Nero's mom had been doing this whole time. And it's similar like yours, like a human organization, but mine was like preparing humans to fight demons, something like training hunters, because there are these artworks featuring other hunters as well, and they were never shown in Devil May Cry. I mean, do you know other devil hunters than the ones we have played with?
Nope.
Lady.
Just Lady, Trish, Dante, and Nero.
Outside of games themselves, I've been only sticking to anime. So if we're talking about novels, that kind of stuff, then I have no info myself.
Yeah, because basically there was one girl, Beryl, in Devil May Cry Volume 2, which is
Yeah, I think I've seen that one.
fortunately still
As well.
canon, and that's the only non-game material where we seen someone hunting demons, but Beryl had his own story and her own business, and she just stopped hunting them after her story arc was finished. But speaking of Volume 2, they introduced an object called the Beast Heads, which opened a portal to a parallel universe. The Beast Heads were destroyed in the novel, but if there is a parallel universe, maybe the new enemy could have come from that universe. Because they could use that. And they don't have to stick to the, let's say, the other version of some boss from the past. They can create something that exists there, and in the main Devil May Cry universe, it does not.
I have this. Once you said a parallel world, I got this cool imagery that Dante's parallel opposite is the girl version. Her name is Ceres. She's full red, and then she comes in, and then her big sister her name is Karen. She has the emo hair,
Karen.
and Dante and Ceres got a beat on Karen.
And Karen is what Karen would like to speak to the manager of Devil May Cry. No, when I think of series and maybe to have a sister, then I think of Trap's mod Elena.
Did he ever finish that?
No, I think he was working on the mod when he.
Yeah, because I was actually following. I was following that mod, but I don't know whether he stopped doing it already. I think he switched to different mods as well.
Let me say, Trev has the same tendency of doing the same thing as I do, just abandoning some mods and working on something else.
Sometimes he straight up cancels them because he doesn't like how they turn out to be, whether we like it or not. And I told him not to scrap his mods because he doesn't like them. Maybe someone else will.
Well, if he stopped doing that Elena mod, then kind of too bad, because I actually liked it myself.
I don't think he stopped. I think he's just working on something else. Apparently that new Rebellion DSD replacement with those Dragon Age Origins markings on it.
Yeah.
So long as he doesn't abandon it, then that's fine.
I'm gonna remind him not to abandon it.
Rossi, you said something come up with you too.
About DMC 6, I don't know. This just popped up in my mind. What if there was some time demonic lord, and I guess they would have to go through time and
meet Sparta along the way.
Or past
after
versions
that,
of themselves.
all the bosses from the old games just come back, I guess.
Or maybe a boss who can turn a devil back into its demon form but stronger.
Like that.
And then he meets two devil hunters named Flare and Rose, and then another one named Nero, Solus Nero, I guess. I guess Nero lost his soul.
No. So let's Solus Nero out of it. My character bears with my name.
And that reminds me, Krillin, did you ever make your avatar?
No, I haven't, because I wanna start learning using 3ds Max for that, because that's a custom model and it's a must in this case.
This whole traveling through time thing, I mean, I was just thinking Dante and Virgil are going to a different dimension to meet Flare and Rose, and Dante is like, who the hell are you guys? We are you, but modded. I don't know, it was just stupid to think of that. I don't know why I thought of that.
Virgil would be deadly serious. Modded? What do you mean modded?
What
is the
kind
meaning
of
of this?
power is this?
Devil May Cry versus the Infernal Warks.
That would be an interesting parallel universe where our mods exist as characters meet the Devil May Cry crew.
Ooh. I mean, I would
We
love
are
to see
you,
that.
but with speed 1.2.
1.2.
And then the introduction. Hi Nero, this is Nero, and that is Nero, and that is Nero as well.
And that is Nero White, that is Nero Black.
And that guy under that blanket is Nude Nero, but we don't talk about him.
I mean, Rose pretty much came up with the idea where Dante and Virgil are going to through different dimensions and then meet. Pretty much they're pretty much like modded versions of their character.
Because if you think about it, the Yamato is kind of broken, so maybe they would probably try to find pieces of it, I guess.
Nero would just come at suplex.
Basically, Yamato's blade is now not as long as it used to be, because Nero fixed Yamato, but there was still a shard in Barlock's possession when he left the underworld. So there should be other pieces of Yamato left. Do you think that's gonna have a role?
I hope they use that as some sort of plot for the future. I'll just
Maybe
someone opening
Virgil
up
still
a
has,
portal to the human world from the demon world.
maybe Virgil still has the idea to separate V and Urizen, and he's gonna do it with a pure Yamato this time.
Yeah, what if Virgil DLC is about you find an item, shard of Yamato, and you have the ability Trinity unlocked?
Upgrade system. Oh, you insert a shard into yourself to unlock ability.
I think we can move on to a Sparta game topic.
Can I
Yes.
touch up a little bit on Nero Only story? I mean, I don't really have any ideas what could it be, but as you said, it's really hard to see how would Nero and Nico would carry the story. It's really hard to see what they could do to make the story interesting. Maybe they could do something to.
Character.
They
Maybe
can
they-
try and train other human devil hunters.
Yeah, but it's hard to see that they would do that. I mean, the story was always about a human half devil.
Give Nero an actual devil armor to use.
Yeah, it is. I mean, technically, the Devil Breakers, quote unquote, are devil arms because they're out of devil parts, but not really.
Yeah, they counter artificial demonic weapons.
Yeah, it would be cool if he like had a new sword, or fucking give him gauntlets too, or just make him kill demons with his own goddamn arms. I mean,
Yeah, expanding the
boss.
moveset for the arms would be a nice addition.
yeah.
Not like
Talk
just one
about
move
devil
thing.
arms for Nero. Like you said, Rotex, but I would say like if only Nero could like just fight off the bosses, and after that he just gains like their devil arm. Like probably they would have an arm, and then he would probably have it as an upgrade.
I don't know.
Honestly, I think I mean, that's just my perspective. The biggest problem if DMC 6 ever had like Nero as the main character, like I think the biggest problem would be coming up with the new like villain or antagonist that wouldn't kick his ass immediately.
I mean, I think someone had an idea that Nero would like go rescue Dante and Virgil or something.
And please skip the part when Kyrie gets kidnapped again.
Kyrie gets kidnapped or killed. Nero gets pissed off.
Bruh.
That's a
No,
possibility,
I
but I doubt Capcom would ever go that way.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Nero actually went through some like Yoko Taro treatment, as I would like to say, like just like in Nier Automata, like make him go through as much suffering as possible. I mean, not like I want to see it happen, but I wouldn't be surprised if it did happen. I mean, just kill
Okay,
off. I mean,
they'll
just
make-
kill off Kyrie, and you already have a material right there.
Okay, not necessarily kill off Kyrie, but imagine a story where, like, okay, let's say big demon invades, Nero goes to fight him, but loses, and a lot of people die. I mean, DMC5 kind of did that, but they didn't really touch up on the whole topic of people dying in the Red Grave.
And what if Nero believed Kyrie is dead, and in the end he would find out that she's alive?
Classic plot twist.
Yes.
Lazy store rating.
I want to touch up on a topic of new playable characters. What would you want out of a new characters if they
Sparta.
introduced one.
Sparta.
That's an old character. I'm talking about the new one.
Still
I
Sparta.
mean, Sparta would work if we had like DMC Zero, which I think was something that we were supposed to talk about by
Yes.
now. But
Yes.
we're talking about like the new character, something that would, someone that would. I cannot form. Okay, continue.
If they introduce a new character, what would you guys want him to be like? Character-wise, like guy, girl, or what kind of weapons he has? What can he do? What's his origin, or something like that? What
Alright.
would you guys want from?
I don't think I have any ideas for that, so I'll probably not say anything to this topic.
I would like a female Devil Hunter because we didn't really have a playable main character as a female in any Devil May Cry except for Lucia, but Lucia is not a new character now.
And Lucia didn't have much of a character, as one would say.
Yeah, but they could use Devil May Cry 6 to bring Lucia back with a new character.
That would be nice. And I hope they get rid of her French accent, because I don't like it.
That was French accent back then.
Yes.
And she would, after all these years, I have learned not to speak French anymore.
Okay, since you guys don't really have any ideas, I guess I would agree with Cree that a female Devil Hunter that wouldn't be someone weak and would need help for people would be a nice addition to Devil May Cry. I mean, that could still be an option. I did have that kind of idea for what I want.
Probably like online mode. Online
That
mode.
could be.
Play mode.
I think
Yep.
so. Yeah, because co-op is always fun.
And two, I would like for me, I would actually mod it too because I would actually want to make a series out of that too. Like imagine we made our characters, and then we can actually put them as like a series or like a,
Infernal Warks anime.
yeah, like that.
Okay.
But like instead,
An anime,
it's like
yeah.
mod it in the game.
Okay, now we should really start talking about the Sparta game now, I think. Because
Let me
we're
go
not-
first. Let me go
Okay.
first.
Okay.
So for Sparta game, oh my god. For Sparta game, you get I want the first. This is gonna be long, so you sure?
I mean, we all have time, right?
So I wanted to start like from the story. So like from the original story, we're in the underworld. We're in the underworld, and we're probably doing tasks for Mundus, as we are Sparta, and probably we have like multiple maps and multiple missions. So probably go down. We go down to the human world, and I guess we do tasks in every mission, and probably by mission 12. From there, everything gets serious, and we probably have to like go through those missions back all the way up to the underworld again to fight Mundus. And probably for a DLC, we play as Sparta again, but this time we have to like probably lock him up, like it told in DMC3. And then after that, it will like tell us more about who was Sparta and how he lived, and the missions will be how he lived as well. And for his combat, I would say through the first missions, he won't be that powerful. He wouldn't be that powerful. Instead, he would like have his normal sword, and he will have his normal Sparta sword, which is like the demon form of the Force Edge. And one of the devil, whatever it's called, one of the power-ups you will have is like through each boss that you encounter, one will give you like probably a scythe.
What's if everyone wanted a scythe?
And then
Besides,
another
are
one.
cool.
Yeah, really are. And then probably for the next boss, it will give you like a two-bladed staff, and then another one will give you like probably like a fist like a fist combat power up. This is all. That's it. That's all I know.
I mean, I can throw like the most simplistic idea that I can come up with, to be honest. At least that's how I see it. Make a game that like tackles most of the events that Sparta did. For example, Sparta did fight Mundus at some point, right? So this could be shown. And also another thing, how Sparta actually sealed the human world away from the demon world in the first place. And what I thought about that is maybe some sort of events when Sparta was still around Temen-ni-Gru. Maybe like remake Temen-ni-Gru on the RE engine, something like that, and then add like Sparta storyline into it.
Like how he met Neville.
Maybe, for example.
And of course, the priestess,
Also that, like, I don't know, Lady's Ancestor, something like that. I mean, this is like a simple idea, but I was always wondering, like, about how Temen-ni-Gru was when Sparta was still around, when Sparta sealed away the demon world.
we know from Arkham that it was risen from the ground. I mean, it was present in the human world, it wasn't like hidden away. And when Sparta sealed it, I think then that was when it went back to the ground. But I'm not sure how Temen-ni-Gru was created, so I don't know if... and I don't remember. And yeah, Temen-ni-Gru could be very useful for a Sparta story, and I remember that more than a millennia later he helped Matir against Argosax, you know, the DMC2 boss.
Yeah. I mean, overall, I just thought to myself, like, the main idea for this kind of storyline, I just thought to myself, Temen-ni-Gru is probably like one of my favorite locations in DMC overall, and I just thought to myself, what would it be like if it was made on RE engine, like completely remade?
It might feel like the OG Devil May Cry gothic horror feel.
Yeah, and that would be a great thing, actually. Either that or DMC1 remake, but obviously none of those are gonna happen, probably.
Yeah, speaking of remakes, everyone goes with either 3 or 1, but me personally, I would want 2 to be remade.
Well, Male Island could be remade for a Sparta game because Sparta sealed Mundus there. So we have already 2 locations, if not 3 if you count the Argosax fight.
I have a feeling that Mundus might have a son.
Isn't Beryl his son?
No. That was just some bullshit on Wikipedia that people spread that as misinformation.
Yeah. Before DMC fight, they were talking about V as the son of Mundus.
Dragneel, Rock, do you want to add something about
I really don't have
preparations
any
of what it
ideas
would be?
for Sparta games, so no, I don't have anything to add. Sorry.
I have few stuff. First of all, the first main thing I care about is how similar is Sparta to Dante and Virgil. I wanna know, did he start off like being like Dante and ended up like Virgil, or is there some correlation? And how does he say, "I want more power"? You know, these kinds of things.
Yeah, the question really is his personality, because it should be the mix of Dante's and Virgil's.
Yeah, I heard he's kind of jolly type. He does have a few wives, I guess.
I mean, Sparta was a full
guitar
demon,
lady.
right?
Yeah, Sparta was a full demon.
That fell in love
Yeah.
with the human woman.
Yes, Eva
Yeah.
in the 20th century.
Yeah, Eva. So maybe that could be like explained. How did that happen in the first place?
Yeah, how did they meet?
Yeah, but I'm also getting a lot of God of War 1 feeling right now with the way you guys, all of you guys said it. Him going back and killing, and I'm not excited about the locations you guys were saying, because I'm tired of recycling in this the same story with the storylines with the Devil May Cry 5. I want something new in the story, to be honest. But you guys seem really energetic about these past areas in Unreal and everything. So I don't know.
Unfortunately, my idea is half reusing, because we know that Mundus became the emperor, by eating the fruit of the Clive 2000 years ago, just like Virgil did in 5, that could take part in the story of a Sparta game.
Well, I don't know. I didn't really read Dante's comedy, but I think I heard of a demon named Faust as king of some demon world. I don't know. I might have heard that from somewhere else. Maybe it was from one of the William Blake things, but that name just kind of stuck to me for some reason. I don't know where I heard it or where it's from, actually.
Any thoughts?
Yes, I have a lot. I mean, a little, but I really didn't come prepared for this whole Sparta plot thing. And actually, it touches the other two.
I mean,
topics also.
we are thinking about storylines for Sparta on a very basic level, but there's pretty much a reason for that because most of the time in DMC, Sparta is pretty much kept as a legend, and we don't have too much information about him in the first place. I mean, Capcom, if they were to ever like make a Sparta game, like a legit Sparta game, they would have to fill in a lot of blanks when it comes to the story about him. Like they would have to come up with a new material for him, so that he's not like legend anymore, where there are some only small bits about him here and there.
Yeah.
Like he would have to get actual story.
I have a lot of interesting story. The Demon King, like you guys said, and then there's top two generals who are brothers. Mandas and Spartas are brothers, and they are the top generals in the Demon King's arsenal. That's a storyline I just thought right now. Sorry.
Okay, I think I'm just gonna go with few words about this.
I have a question.
It's also okay, Rosie. Let's go before I lose me.
How horny am I?
Not today, Rose.
Rose, come on.
Rose, please.
Please.
Seriously? It's not funny, man.
But yeah, that I mentioned earlier that if I were to tell the story for DMC6 or maybe for a Sparta story, then it would be something like a character is connected to every Devil May Cry game in some way, and that character would fill in the gaps. Like a character introduced maybe in DMC6 or in a Sparta game who is still around while doing other stuff, and he could serve as a plot device to either become the catalyst for character development or maybe achieve some crossovers without hurting the canon. Like a character who is capable of traveling between worlds. So he can move outside of the Devil May Cry cosmology. That means he can go to places where maybe gods and angels exist, because in the MCV, no, they don't exist.
For me, it's just too much to handle. So I'm sorry if I went quiet. I mean, the moment words like traveling through dimensions and multiverse come into play, my brain just disables. So sorry about that.
I mean, I don't really have anything to say, I suppose. So
I would go back for the first ruler of the underworld. Has to be a boss.
I had a really similar OC idea, the gap covering one.
We can say that we can skip the Bayonetta topic because...
No, I want to touch up on it a little bit.
I never played.
But I want to go...
Anything to add?
I want to go with the possible plot for the Sparta game, and it does touch up a little bit of the Bayonetta crossover and the OC thing.
Okay, go for it.
I've been like toying with this idea for an OC that Sparta is could be either a demon that was loyal at the beginning to Mundus, or was a part of Mundus but was split apart by Yamato. That is one of the ideas that I have for what could be a possible plot for a Sparta game. Maybe it's just a half that is conflicted over a single thing, but in the end they just find even more and more differences, and Sparta ends up just beating the shit out of Mundus and just closing the portal to the human and demon world with the power either of the tower or of Yamato.
What about their
Also,
weapons?
also, I want Eva to be a powerful witch that made a contract with him, and kicked ass as an alternative character in that game.
Basically
Eva.
like Kamiya's version in Bayonetta, where Eva is an Umbran witch who is fighting.
Yes, yes, and yes.
What about their weapons?
I mean, Bayonetta could just do like,
Whatever weapons do you want?
yeah, you should just go. Bayonetta had a lot of weapons. Eva could have a lot of weapons too, like whips, swords.
Bayonetta even can use blades and whips on her legs. That game is either you like it as a DMC player or you damn hate it and leave it be. That's what I saw mostly. Because
like
people were complaining about its combat, and Bayonetta is basically a game where you forget everything you learned about how to play Devil May Cry and never ever try to play Bayonetta as a DMC game because you're gonna suck.
Yeah, the game should have some sort of different combat than just Bayonetta.
Because in Devil May Cry you use lock-on to focus on an enemy, but in Bayonetta you barely use lock-on, only for certain moves,
Yeah,
and
just
you
for some-
focus on the enemies all around you, and you can just hit one and use the left stick to change direction and use the next move to hit the other one.
I mean, you can't expect every combat system to be the same. I mean,
Yeah, but they thought it's from the creator of Devil May Cry. They expect it to be like a Devil May Cry game.
No, who expected it?
Many people who complained about it, how it's just a cheap copy of Devil May Cry.
And then they say it's not Devil May Cry because its lock on is different. I'm sorry, I like Bayonetta. I'm kind of biased here.
It was basically like it didn't hit the expectations of those people who originally played Devil May Cry and used to playing Devil May Cry. So when they met with the combat system of Bayonetta, it threw them off because whatever moves they tried to do, like when you see a combo video for Devil May Cry 4, they tried similar things, but you can't do those in Bayonetta, and they found that as a problem because I don't know why they expect it to be like DMC.
that's just kind of shooting yourself in the foot. I mean, Bayonetta is not DMC in the first place. I mean, it shouldn't be treated as DMC, I think.
Yeah, it plays way different.
So those kind of complaints kind of don't make sense to me personally. That is if there ever were such like that.
Also, I've said this multiple times, but the Bayonetta's way aggressive game than DMC. In DMC, enemies tend to be more passive, and in Bayonetta they tend to be more aggressive, and I kind of like that.
Especially if there is an item, if you equip it, an accessory, sorry, then the enemies get enraged, they do more damage, they move more faster, and they are even more active. So it's like applying the enemy DT or on DMD difficulty on Bayonetta enemies.
Yeah, I want to talk about the difference in enemies in both the game. In Devil May Cry, we have few nice punching bags, but in Devil May Cry, the biggest hype is the boss battles. While in Bayonetta, the boss battles suck, but the regular enemies, they are really good punching bags. The reason why they come at Bayonetta at a certain range is that Bayonetta has this slowdown movement where you dodge her and then you get this MGR Sanders move where things literally slow down. So you need to learn dodging in that game a lot.
Yes, because in Bayonetta you need to use dodge to get witch time, and you need these gameplay mechanic called dodge offset, which basically you can offset your moves mid-combo, and then after a dodge you can continue that combo. So you don't have to start every combo every time you dodge. And some people said that it was unusual for them that they have to pay attention dodging more and more. But that's just how Bayonetta gameplay is. Especially in 2 when you have to rely on witch time even more.
Yeah,
I've got
even
to play
if you have
Bayonetta at least
50
once.
characters, even if you have 50 characters in the screen, you have to just dodge one single move, and then you can basically kill one enemy with a combo, and then you can start doing it over again.
And there are some broken moves like distortion effect in Bayonetta 2 when you activate her, let's say her devil trigger like ability, Umbral Climax, and you can just clear the room with a single combo. And that's why a Bayonetta and Devil May Cry crossover would be very hard to make because they have 2 different kinds of combat system.
You know how could they go around to that? They have 2 characters. One plays one way, the other plays another way. They could, in theory, make that work.
And they could also make it work to not to change either Devil May Cry or Bayonetta's lore, because the main thing is that Bayonetta has angels, but
Yes.
Devil May Cry does not.
Mhm.
And they can just simply fix that with one character going to the world of the other, and that's it. Or something like that, or they are pulled into a parallel universe where both exist, or they could do just creative work. They could come up with something.
Aren't they both a hack and slash game?
They are both.
So what's the difference? They both are good.
Dude.
I mean,
Otherwise, it would make
both are hack and
sense.
slash, but it still doesn't change the fact that they have different combat systems, right?
And
while Dante is this wacky hoo-hoo hobo man for us, Bayonetta is over-sexualized, but it's intentional because they thought it's gonna be funny if in the first game the camera always in the position where it shows Bayonetta's body. That's why they remodeled the first model not to have that long hair, because that would cover her body.
I'm gonna be frankly honest here. I mean, Bayonetta's poses overall are one of the reasons why I'm afraid to play the game in the first place. like, I don't want to play it, but I want to play it, and I know that if I play it, it's gonna hook me up a lot more than it should.
it might. It might. It's a fun game.
I mean, I've got to give it a try at least once. I mean, I always keep shoving away.
Okay.
Have you seen the death battle between Bayonetta and Dante? It's on YouTube.
Yes.
And that
Yeah.
Don't we all know that Dante will win?
and some people freaked out because Dante won, and well, it's legit he had won, because if you take away all their weapons and all their abilities, Bayonetta remains as a mortal human, but Dante is still a half demon, and they have abilities which cancel each other out. And basically,
Oh, yeah.
Bayonetta possesses Dante's styles, but in, let's say, in beginner level, because for Trickster you have this quick dash move in crow form when she turns into a crow and quickly flies to the enemy, and that's basically the Trickster move you have. Swordmaster is basically just the combos you do. Gunslinger is the moves when you circle around with the left stick and Bayonetta starts shooting with her gun like Dante does. And Royal Guard is just an accessory, it's the parry accessory, and if you do the perfect parry, you do a counter attack like Royal Release and you get witch time, and these are the styles of Dante in Bayonetta.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, in Bayonetta 1, the parry thing was just a equipable bangle thing, right?
Yes, it was the Moon of Mahakala.
I mean, it's still a nice addition, but I still would want it to be like either a skill or a thing that you just can use always. I mean, MGR did it like that. You can just buy it as a skill and can use it whenever.
Well, they did it as a skill in the Wii U and later ports, because when you lose the Link costume, you have that ability automatically without equipping the accessory.
I do not know that.
But there is gonna be a mod for the game which allows you to equip 3 accessories because you have 3 slots, so you have an extra and you can always leave that there.
There is a topic that I want to hear what you guys, your opinions on it. Lore additions and retcons, basically things that don't make sense to you and you want it to be changed. Is there like things like that in the majority of the Devil May Cry series in any game?
I have an
Okay.
infamous one. The
I have some.
Sparda separating his power into 3. I know it's because of 5's plot it was created, but couldn't they just leave Rebellion to be a memento from Sparda? And Dante actually developed his own Devil Sword without combining Rebellion and Devil Sword Sparda.
I hope they just break DSD and just it comes back as Rebellion and Sparta.
That would be a big oof if there was gonna be a next game that someone just says no DSD and
No.
Mexican woman shows up. Consuela says no DSD.
Just slaps it with a slipper and just breaks. So, do you guys, do you have any ideas what you would want the lore to be changed to? Something you don't like?
Let me see.
I don't think I
Uh,
have anything.
I wonder in DMC 2,
Oh,
how the fuck does he still have Majin form even though in DMC 5 he gains the power to get Majin form? Like that's what I don't get.
Yeah,
I mean, the Majin
condition
form
to
in-
doing it.
Yeah, keep going.
All I wanted to say, it's just a thing that you activated at low health. It's not really. I don't think it's a canon thing. It's just a gameplay thing.
let's tweet at Itsuno.
I mean, honestly,
another-
Majin form in
Oh,
2,
my bad.
I mean, it feels like a mess, especially after the fact that Capcom decided to change the chronological order of the games.
Oh yeah, what is the order now? Anyways.
3, 1, 2, 4, 5.
Oh.
Because in 4 Dante was like this funny guy, and in 2 he was deadly serious, and if 2 was before 5, then you have a funny guy, then he's deadly serious, then he's funny again.
I mean, wasn't there like a time gap of 1 year between 4 and 5?
Wasn't it like 5?
At least 5 years, I think. They only said that Nero is in his prime. I don't know what age that.
I think one of the novels for pre-DMC5 said how much time has passed since 4 and 5.
I think it was 5 years, right?
Something like that. I don't know. Don't remember. Was it 4 or 5? Something like that.
Okay, so I was completely wrong. Okay.
Another thing, in DMC1, you literally fight Mundus, but then again you turn into Sparta's DT or SDT, whatever it's called. I wonder would that actually be in Devil May Cry 6? Like, how would that? What do you guys think? How that would be?
That Dante would decide to use his father's devil form when he devil triggers.
Yes.
I don't think he would do that. I mean, he did that then because he just awakened Sparda's power in his devil sword, and that affected him. That there is this thing, about his immature devil trigger, that other devil arms influence how this devil trigger looks. It's not really officially stated, but that makes some sense. So that's why he had Sparda devil trigger when he used Sparda sword.
I mean, I don't think Dante would ever like use Sparda Devil Trigger. I mean, Sparta's Devil Trigger like in DMC1 because of one simple thing. I mean, it was stated like multiple times that Dante and Virgil already surpassed Sparta in terms of power, right? Or did they?
I mean, DMC4 lores already specifies that Dante is stronger than Sparta.
Yeah.
I think even DMC1 says that. with.
And then there is the
fucking
case of
spider
DMC
thing.
of Clifot in DMC5, the whole fruit, and that gave Dante and Virgil additional power boost, right?
Where in 4 they only state that some people believe him to be stronger, and that's the only thing closest to official statement. So it's like they believe him to be, but it depends on the plot.
Power levels
Sparta
are bullshit.
as a boss would be cool. Oh, that would be cool.
At any case, like Dante using Sparta as Devil Trigger, I mean, the Devil Sword Sparta itself already fused with Rebellion, right? And that gave
Yeah.
Sin Devil Trigger. So at this point, Sparta DT is pretty much like not necessary.
No, I have a feeling that Capcom watches a lot of Dragon Ball Z. They're
Most
creating
likely.
next level things.
Thought about something.
Like I said, power level is all bullshit. Well, the only lore thing that I would want to like do some addition to it is like explain how the fuck did the order came about to finding Yamato. That's like the only thing that I want it to be explained.
I think it was like they went to the remains of Malay Island. Wait, what? Sparta or Yamato? What did you...
Yamato.
Yamato, how it got broken and found, I think, yeah?
That it got broken when Mundus tortured Virgil.
Yeah, the new manga covers that. It just shows Virgil's sword Yamato
how
being
the
broken
fuck-
to Mundus.
How the fuck did he come back in DMC5? How the fuck did Virgil come back? That's something I
Yeah,
want
that is
explained.
also a thing that could be explained. How the fuck did he come back?
I mean, in DMC1, he like became an orb or something when you the third.
And turned into that blue flame.
I mean, he did that after every fight. That doesn't mean he's dead.
The camera didn't show him, though. That's the thing.
In Visions of V, Virgil's body was destroyed. His soul was placed into the armor of Nilo Angelo. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I can't.
But didn't he take off his
imagine that.
mask?
Yeah, his helmet. He took that off in the fight.
I mean, he did somehow come back with a body in 5.
And in the lyrics of Bury the Light, it was something about being drifting in the ocean all alone. So maybe he was still well intact physically somehow after the destruction of Malay Island, and he was just drifting in the ocean, as the lyrics said.
Or a
Oh,
pool of blood.
that's a good idea.
Or maybe he had a shard of Yamato.
Probably. Probably he was still in the underworld or something, which took place in DMC4.
I would really like this to be explained somehow, even as a manga or something, because we don't know where Visions of V is going to go up until it reaches the point when Mission 1 starts in Devil May Cry. So we have like a month story to tell, because now we have the flashback story of how Virgil and Dante's fate got sealed by the events of that day.
Okay, I see you guys don't really have any ideas on DMC Bayonetta crossover, right?
Nope. I didn't even
Nope.
play Bayonetta, so.
You still have to play the game, so I don't have much to say.
Yeah, it would be better if we all knew how these two games' story are, because knowing DMC without knowing the story of Bayonetta, it makes it kind of hard to create a crossover idea.
Yeah, and this is exactly why I don't speak anything in that area. I mean, like, I want to have a clear image before. Like,
Well,
at
we're
least
talking about
half clear
crossovers?
image. I mean, crossovers overall are hard to maintain when it comes to, like, keeping them consistent.
You can add Dante to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and that's it.
That would be a crossover.
Dante for Smash.
Dante for Smash. Whoa.
Do you think a Switch would handle DMC5?
I mean, there were some Switch image files in the DMC file.
Where, well, it could handle Mortal Kombat 11.
I mean,
What?
Witcher is on Switch.
Witcher is on Switch alongside with Mortal Kombat 11.
Seems I'm learning some new things, Jesus.
DMC4 is just 10 missions. Nintendo can handle it.
I mean, I guess.
I don't think the Switch can handle DMC5 Special Edition.
And they can go the Witcher way to downgrade the graphics a bit.
True.
480p, 30 FPS.
Nah. 480p 15 FPS, all you're getting.
Jeez.
Did I hear that right? 480p?
Yes.
15 FPS DMC5. Get it now.
And let's talk about this new game called Devil May 5.
Oh my
With
fuck.
Turbo
On
and
Xbox Series
LDK.
K.
Devil May 5.
Series KKK.
Devil May 5.
We are at the end of the list, though, right? I mean, only the
Introduction, quick history of
OCs
modding.
are left, I think. Unless someone has something else to add.
Okay, I want to talk about the DMC and Bayonetta crossover. Should it happen? Fuck yes. Matching lore. The only thing that makes sense if Dante somehow traveled into Bayonetta's dimension, and because for Dante, angels would just be different kinds of demons, and he would just.
I know how they make it so he would be in Badazooners. Virgil just takes a Borkle and eats him. You see, Dante, I don't care. I have no clue where this leads. Goodbye.
Imagine the scene that Dante and Virgil goes to a portal, they end up in Bayonetta's universe, but in the timeline when Eva is still alive and they saw their own mother to fight with guns, they're like, "Mother, what are you doing?" She go, "What mother, you fools?"
I think I got one. Probably Virgil and Dante inside the demon world. They'll probably like go deeper inside demon world, I guess. And then for somehow they wander off. They wander in some dark world, like probably like limbo. They wander in limbo, and then they meet Bayonetta, and probably shit goes from there.
Like only a reboot thing.
Hmm?
Isn't the limbo like only in reboot? Well,
No, like at least they'll bring it back into Devil May Cry, like the OG Devil May Cry, and probably Limbo will look different. What do you guys think?
I mean, it would have to be kind of like a different Limbo, like a different from Reboot, because in the Reboot, like Limbo still had connection to the real world. It was, I think, it was dependent on it.
So like, I'd say this.
It's not exactly
would be-
like
oh.
different dimension. I don't know.
why did you say Pogs?
You didn't even say anything.
I don't know. I heard that Pog for no reason. I'm going insane. I hear someone say Pogs even though no one said it.
You don't know what you heard.
Oh.
You heard nothing.
Are you sure about that one?
So what do you say, Kree? You want move on to our OC ideas?
We can.
I don't know anything.
Well, mine is kind of a bridge between Bayonetta and Devil May Cry. So my character is the one who is filling the gaps in DMC and connected to Bayonetta in some way, so he serves as the character who makes the crossover possible, but without retconning any canon.
Capcom versus Platinum Games game.
No, it's just a fan idea, so I didn't think about it. It should be like DMC game or something. It's like a character who has been there since Sparta's Rebellion in the DMC world, and then he traveled to different dimensions, maybe. As we talked about, then he ended up in the Bayonetta universe. He spent some time there, and then he came back. And that's basically how it could be connected without retconning canon. But it's a long Word file explaining all this.
So you guys have any OC ideas? You Rook said that you don't. The Flare, Drag, Rose. You?
If I was being asked that question like a few years ago, I would probably come up with something, but currently I don't have any ideas.
May you please repeat the question?
See ideas.
Oh, before Rose, I guess I was going for like a vampire style. If you watch the movie Queen of the Damned, and you know the character Lestat, I wanted a character like that to be in Devil May Cry.
I have a few. They are just like DMC, mostly bullshit. Like it comes into an idea with what if Mondas was something but something else than just Mondas and split himself into some other being and Mondas, and that other thing is like just grandfather of my OCs. I wanted one of those characters to be like some sort of time traveler or dimension traveler that would just fill a few character plot holes. Plot holes of the DMC, or just connect some other things together. Some similarity to Kreese.
Question. What about the color? Color effect? Yeah, like the color effect.
I really haven't decided of what his coast could be, but I was thinking like dark colors, maybe dark blue, maybe just black with white crosses or something. Because I have that family name, have the name Cross, and I kind of want to incorporate like designs and their attacks to be cross themed.
I was going for a black theme for Lestat.
Jesus, I think I have like a screen on that character or something, but I don't think I should even look for it. Basically, just a half human, half demon bullshit like Dante or something. But I do want that story to be a little bit like dark, deep, but I'm really not a good writer to develop them deeply. But I do want that story of mine to be like in the DMC world, that there's demons, there's maybe demon hunters, there's maybe not that just humans, but humans with powers, and those humans with powers are like oppressed by humans, but they are still trying to live alongside them.
Imagine if they used Pandora to create demonic weapons for humans, and humans would use that to train as an army in case of a major.
Speaking of Pandora, why did they give it to Trish in Forest Key?
Gameplay purpose.
Yeah.
I mean, it was never like specified. It ain't exactly like an idea, like a full idea of the OC, but I mean, I'm doing that Crimson Anger mod of mine. I keep adding updates to it, and originally the idea, it was inspired by DMC, but I wanted to use it for something completely else, for like original setting and that kind of stuff. And right now I just keep messing around with that mod, and if I could count it as an OC for Devil May Cry 6, for example, like a new character, then I saw a lot of comments that my mod would count as Daughter of Dante, and I started digging that idea, and I just thought to myself, this could be like a good addition to Nero if there ever was like a DMC6 game. So I kind of go with that idea. At least that's how I do it.
Yeah, I mean, Dante would having a daughter would be nice.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't even have to be daughter. I mean, like, just break Dante's virgin policy,
Dante's wife.
Just please, Capcom, just let us know that Dante was properly young once too as Virgil.
Or maybe it's gonna happen in the underworld. Virgil asking Dante, was this your first after all this time? And Dante, well, brother, some things cannot be rushed.
I mean, but seriously, I mean, I keep saying that just give Dante a kid of his own, but we already tackled like a lot of aspects for potential DMC6. I mean, if Dante had a daughter, female Devil Hunter, we would have like first legit female character in the franchise.
Yes,
Lady,
and
though?
that would be nice.
I mean, besides of Lucia, but Lucia, I don't know. I don't
We
know
don't
how...
talk about that game.
Who's Lucia?
Woman of the DMC2
Oh.
that uses like knives and swords.
Yeah, I know.
You just ask who is she? What the fuck?
No, Vane, that was your voice, right?
Oh, what do you mean?
You said Lucia.
Yeah, I don't know who said that, but I said we don't talk about that game.
Oh no, for some reason,
Bruh.
I thought her name was. Okay, I'm gonna stop that. I don't know what I'm talking about.
I mean, some people call her Lucia, or some call her Lucia.
I never knew.
Lucia, I don't know.
Honestly, depression woman.
That whole
With French
game is
accent.
depression.
Exactly.
Wow.
Woman. And Dante's a depression man. Simple.
I'm guessing this takes place as he's depressed about his family. I guess.
Virgil is dead. I'm sad now. That's basically the game. Or Dante's mood. I think that Dante was just woke in DMC2.
We would like to see a reboot of DMC2 then.
Yes.
Reboot?
Reboot or remake?
Remake.
A remake. Then a
Mhm.
remake.
RE remake. It would be cool seeing like the old games and the new graphics.
If they ever remake them, they're not gonna stick with the visuals only. They're gonna introduce some changes in the story, maybe, which could retcon stuff.
True.
If there's something I want from Devil May Cry, I'd probably want them to put like probably all the games together but remake them. Not that they're all bad, but like
All games in one.
Devil
probably
May Cry-
Yeah,
chapter
but it will
1,
probably take
chapter
like a lot
2.
of
Devil
time.
May Cry 5 is 1 year old. I want a remake.
So, guys, I think we went through like the whole like podcast list
Definitely
already.
went
Anyone
through-
else got something to add?
I don't.
Yes, we all are, I think, tired and sleepy, right? Well, at least people that are in the right time zone.
I'm not tired at all. I just don't have anything. Really.
I could do
It's,
more.
it's
but-
11 p.m. It's 11 p.m. for me right now, but it's not like I feel sleepy. Or something.
Same.
Yeah, and also I think some people want to take a break.
Rose is gonna say his weird stuff.
Yeah,
I've got to say though, I thought that we would have like some bigger problems with this podcast, but it actually went better than I thought.
yeah. Rosie wasn't as horny as I thought he would be.
I mean, besides of Rose.
No.
Thank you, Cree, for
No problem.
giving us the opportunity to join and just chat for a little bit.
No problem, and thanks for letting me in.
Same here.
Although I'm kind of afraid how I'm gonna sound on the recording.
Guys, I hope you're not scared of me. I'm Russian. I drank vodka.
Oh no.
I'm just some.
Wait, hold on, so I
I'm
can-
just some redhead.
So I can pay
No,
you
I'm not
a
redhead.
vodka vein. Is that what you're saying?
Anyway, thank you guys for joining me on Discord, and thank you all on YouTube for joining us for our first Infernal Warks podcast ever. I hope everyone had a great time, but it's time to say our goodbyes.
Goodbye.
Bye.
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 Bye.